Thomas was alone. Something with a very similar style to English Country Tune, and the exact same look. I don't just use the resolution, or let me change it in game like every other game. Mike Bithell. Much better presentation than English Country Tune so far. Let's do a new game. Oh, this is fantastic music. The program was a failure. People forget this. It was a massive flop. The coders started adding name strings to the AIs as a joke. Thomas AT23. Oh.
Thomas was alone. Wow. A weird first thought to have.
Movement keys. Escape star. It's got a narrator. Okay, the music is fantastic. The presentation is fantastic. Who made this game? Did this guy do something
Thomas
else?
decided to start listing his observations for posterity.
Okay. Alright, this is
1.
already awesome.
The whole alone thing. 2. Portals. They led somewhere. He'd yet to work out where. 3. Falling. Thomas was absolutely fantastic at falling. He was almost as good at falling as he was at observing.
Oh my god, they've got like a snarky British narrator and fantastic music. Ah, god. Okay, yeah. This is when indie games are doing stuff right.
Okay, interesting. Thomas couldn't fall past this block. Think, damn it, think. What if there was some kind of inverted fall? Some way to... what's the word? Jump.
I am...
Worked! Thomas had solved the great inverted fall mystery.
I'm like playing the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy right now.
A big jump. But Thomas noted there was no real danger in missing it. The world didn't want him to fail here. It was pushing him, but gently.
Oh, this is awesome.
This all seemed a little dangerous. The world was not to be trusted. It was unstable, and it seemed to Thomas that it could let him down at any moment. He was starting to suspect it might even be doing so on purpose. Nah, paranoia.
Okay, so what is the gameplay going to turn into? That's my big question here. They got music down, they've got snarky British narrator down.
Thomas wondered whether the portals were actually taking him anywhere. He felt like he was making progress, but there wasn't really any way to know. He seemed to be moving predominantly up and to the right, which might, or might not, be important.
Jesus. I feel like I can't really talk, because this guy who's talking is so much better than I will ever
It might
be.
have been paranoia again, but Thomas could have sworn the world was becoming more complicated. It always seemed to be one step ahead of his skills.
Are you guys seeing this lighting too?
Designed just for him. He wondered why. Was the world testing him? No. Too obvious.
Look at the shadows it's casting. They changed direction. Where's the original light source? Oh, it's like, it's there. Look at that. Oh man, this is gorgeous. This is such fantastic work. Oh.
Something about the boiling, toxic, glowing water intimidated Thomas. He didn't like it. He certainly didn't want to swim in it. He made another mental note. 4. Water. Not good. To be avoided.
This is like I'm playing the whale that suddenly came to existence in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
The loneliness
Except
was
it's a
getting
computer
to
program.
Thomas. No amount of observation or obsessive note-taking could combat that.
Okay, I'm gonna keep recording, but I think I will just stop it here, or if something interesting happens later, I'll fast forward to it. But I think this is a game you guys should just go out and experience for yourself, because it's some decent platforming. I mean, I don't actually know how good the gameplay is at this point. It seems fine, but the art and the music and the narration is bloody fantastic. The platforming is already better than it was in Little Tiny and Big. God, the platforming was awful in that. Alright. So, that is Thomas Was Alone.
Thomas had a new theory. The world was training him. He could feel himself getting smarter. There was the mental list to consider. Over the minutes and seconds since his spontaneous generation, Chris took an immediate and deep dislike to the skinny red rectangle. Who the hell did this Thomas think he was?
Okay. Ooh. So Thomas isn't alone anymore. He's got Chris. Chris seems to be orange. QE switches. So I can use my left hand on WASD instead of the number pad, the arrows. Yeah. Co-op. Alright.
Chris had been doing fine. He wasn't the highest jumper, but he'd held his own. He'd even been graceful at times.
Poor
Not
Chris.
actually, not technically graceful. It's probably the wrong word, but you know, fine. There was that skinny little runt leaping about like he owned the place.
Okay, so I need Thomas. Alright. That nice. Thomas and Chris are working together. Tom's helping Chris out because he's a little short. Cool.
Okay, this was more like it. A glowy white thing. Only Chris could get to it, which of course made it all the more enticing. What would
Okay.
it do? What new opportunity might this switch open up to him?
That's neat. It's like they've got different abilities. It's just based on shapes. Poor Chris can't jump.
Grace. Another chance for Thomas to jump slightly higher than Chris. How fortunate. Seriously, this made the whole switch pressing thing entirely worthwhile.
Alright. Just make our way up here.
John knew. He knew that this was his chance. A moment to shine. This
John.
was game day.
Okay. 3-0. Well, this is harder than it looks. The orange one has to jump on the red one. But how do I get him? Okay, yeah. I think there's room for both of them on there, so... One goes up. Other goes up. And there we go.
This would not do. John needed room to show off his exceptional skills. As it was, he was trapped on the wrong side of these little dot things. Where do they come from,
the
anyway?
Perspectives. This is so wonderful. The storytelling. I mean, really starting to feel for Thomas and John and Chris. They've all got their own personalities, and they're just dots, lines.
John inhaled the air of the open space, and it smelled of awesome. Time to flex those muscles, to put his training to use, time to show those little dots how it was done.
Oh man, yeah, he really can jump.
John decided to press the switch to let the little dots catch up with him. John cared for his new allies. You could tell from the sympathetic expression he practiced in the mirror all these years. So, this was how Claire would die. She knew it would happen eventually. She was rubbish at jumping, and she moved slowly. She felt a little like her continued existence was breaking some kind of natural order. The crumbling pillar was a dramatic death, she supposed. Wait, what? Claire couldn't shake the feeling that she was not, in fact, dead. It was at that moment that Claire realised she had superpowers. She'd need a cape. There was no getting around that. You couldn't be a superhero without a cape. Claire didn't want confusion.
Okay. Don't know why it keeps switching me back to this. Hello? Okay, so I just played for about a half hour. I cut out at the end because it didn't seem like a good casting game, but I have to say, Thomas Was Alone, totally freaking rad. Oh, and look at that. There's all these different colors of dudes. So basically, there's more dudes than just Thomas. He's not alone. He's got a bunch of friends, and they're all different shapes, or different sizes, I should say, and that has different properties. You know, some can jump higher, some can get underneath smaller things. And the British narrator just fills them all with personality, and you get this feeling of this team, and they're just little squares. It's lovely. It's wonderful. It's a charming, clever, just fantastic game, and you guys need to go play it. There's no question about that. That this game is just lovely. Yeah, so anything else, or maybe call it a day. I just brought Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness 3. It doesn't have controller support. Can you believe that? Awful. Well, it says it has controller support. My controller did not work. Alright. Alright. Capsized. I think that's pretty much the last Humble Bundle, unless I want to do one of the ones I've played before, like Esther. Let's try Capsized. Something new.